We are now recording. Good morning, Susan Shelton. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Good to see everybody. So happy Friday. Yay! I hope a lot of you are, for those of you in the U.S., I hope you have a light week next week. Just a reminder, we are not meeting next Friday, a week from today. Hannah, remember that. As we celebrate our independence. Or, as I call it, playstating Emma for 6 hours at the evening. Because I don't know where you live, but in Florida, you can have fireworks in your driveway. So
we can't here, but people do. So
there's like firework tents on every corner. Yeah. It's a big industry here. So anyway, I digress. Don't get me started on it.
Oh, no, I'm not used to it either. Yeah. In Colorado, there is none of that.
Colorado's new.
Police will come looking for you if they hear any.
That's maybe where I should move to.
I know. You're not allowed to have fires in your yard either, which.
That's so funny. But you can smoke a joint. God bless you, Colorado.
Nobody cares. Fireworks, I don't care.
They have a high fire.
Wrong fire.
A lot of wildfires.
Constant fire risk.
Yeah.
Right. Which we have in Florida too, but that's all right. Anyway, don't get me started.
Yeah.
Let's get started with, now we all know each other, so we're going to do something a little different today. So let's say, you're still going to introduce yourself, of course, but let's say, let's get in the vortex. Let's share something you're celebrating. Big or small, personal or business, or both, it does not matter. Let's just everybody take a moment to think what that might be.
I know what mine is.
Okay, good. All right. Let's get started. And since Susan said, I know what mine is, I'm going to start with you, Susan Rose.
The Kick-Ass Content Planner is available on Amazon.com right now.
Yay!
My beautiful reviewers will be getting their copies that I promise at some point in the near future as soon as I get them.
Awesome.
But yeah, now I'm doing all the stuff to promote it, but I'm like, okay, I'm just going to brag on myself for a second because
Absolutely.
I this, and this is really good. Like, it's not always, but I've never had a planner for this, so I've never sat down on paper with a pen and gone through it, but I have been for planning the content for this launch, and I'm just sitting there like, damn, this is kind of a hard question, but this is really good.
Good for you.
I'm myself right now.
Good for you. Are you going to do a launch?
I am. I'm still putting all that together. Okay. I've gone ahead and I've got a sales page. I'll put the link in. That's what it's going to do at the end. But I'm putting together the graphics and all the stuff.
Okay, keep us posted so we can help you.
Tribe together to help me to launch it and get it sold and everything like that. But,
well, that's awesome. Congratulations. So should we buy it now or should we wait?
You can buy it now. I'm not doing the whole bestseller thing because there's 4 different covers. It's 4 different books on Amazon.
Oh.
They're not linked. So it's not a perfect system that I went with. So there's no really, buy it now if you want it and pick your cover.
Okay. Awesome. Well, make sure you put the link in the chat box for us. That's a good, good. There it is. Look at, Kaijo's already got on her phone. Yeah.
Found it. On Instagram promoting it so we can all pass it around.
Oh, good.
I got all the graphics. So all that stuff is going to be coming out at some point.
Yeah.
And those in the Celestial Circle will learn exactly how to do that in July. Perfect timing.
Perfect. Well, I'm offering bulk discounts to coaches who want to use them with their people. So anyway,
all right.
I can stop talking and somebody else can share their.
Well, we are proud of you, Susan. Congratulations. That's a big deal. All right. Jennifer.
Well, it's really small, but if anybody is interested in going in the direction of Facebook groups, because they're so big now, and everybody's on Facebook, right? You're all on there. I was having a hard time showing up in groups because I have like 80 that I just collect. Oh yeah, I want to be part of that. Yeah. And then I never make it back because it's so hard to organize them over on the side, and then they rotate and you're like, which ones? And I tried an Excel spreadsheet and that wasn't quite jiving. And then I found this app called Toby, Toby, it's awesome. It will save all the links in your Chrome if you guys are using Chrome. And then you can just go back to this one area, and they're kind of in like a square, so you can see all of whatever is in that tab, and you can open up a whole screen of like 80 tabs to keep yourself busy. Or you can just click on one and then go to each different group, and mingle in there. And it was really exciting because now I can finally show up on a regular basis, keep them all organized. I was excited. So if anybody, and I'm actually like getting people interested in, what I have to offer. So that's,
That's what a great best practice and tip. Maybe you can drop the link to the app or whatever. And
if anybody wants any info or how to set it up, please just reach out and I'll walk you through it.
Awesome. Thank you.
It's free. It's just an extension that you add on there.
Very cool. I love my Google Chrome extensions. Yeah.
I know. Those pile up too, right?
Yes, they do. They
have a long on there.
Long list of them. Very good. Thanks, Jennifer. All right, Kelly Lutman, you're next.
I think mine's going to be more personal. I fly to DC today. I get to spend a week with my husband. Since February, he's been working 3 weeks out of every month in DC. It's been really old. It's not the kind of empty nest I was looking forward to. Too empty. So anyway, I'm excited about working there. And while he's working next week, I will be digging in and finalizing stuff for my acid reflux program. So
very cool. We'll have a good time up there. I'm sure you'll be glad to see Tom.
Thank you.
Yay.
Yes.
Good for you. What a cool place to be for 4th of July, by the way.
Yeah. I haven't seen 4th of July in DC since 1976, which was the big
Wow. Big year.
Yeah. A good year.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I was in Disney that year.
That's awesome. All right, Debbie. Kevin. Looking very summery.
It's very warm. Good morning, everyone. So I would have shared the outcome of my speaking last night, but when I got home, Jack was waiting for me, and he said that his band has been asked to be one of the opening acts for the largest metal concert of the summer, Slaughterfest. Mary Beth may know. So, and how it happened, he's a manifester, and he's been going to this concert. He's met and seen all the bands that are performing several times, but the headline act has been following Jack and then reached out and asked them.
Oh my God.
And so they're second on the bill, August 4th. So he is just over the moon. Like, it's like a real concert. They have them all over the country. So,
oh, that's amazing.
Wow. Really excited going on.
Yeah.
That's fabulous.
So excited for him.
Are you going?
Probably not.
Oh, you should go.
He doesn't want me. I may go for his, just to see him, because it would be really cool, but it's definitely not my jam.
Yeah, but Debbie, what you got to do is you got to stand up and say, "That's my son." That's
With my big orange earplugs in.
You need a sign that says, "I heart you, Jack."
All right. It's August 4th if anybody wants to come with me.
Awesome.
No, I would, Debbie, but I'm going to be in Colorado, so.
Oh, man.
I would absolutely go with you.
I would too. That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, we could do it.
Yeah, that'd be fun. So that's my vortexy thing, is my kid is rocking the free world.
Yay, go Jack. That's awesome. Congratulations to him.
I've heard Jack sing, and it just makes me hurt.
Aww.
I just like, how can he do that to himself?
Screams. It's its own.
It's way down here. It's like, ah.
It's his own genre. But you know what? That's what my parents said about grunge. So
I'm officially old.
All right,
My mom used to call it love songs. Oh, it sounds like a love song. Yeah. Real sarcastic.
Mary Beth, you're up.
I'm going to do two things. So Debbie, you told me about getting the E Squared book. So I started reading last night and it's talking about manifesting. Oh yeah, okay, fine. So I said, all right, but I'd really like to, fill my nurture class. I got one person in it, right? And so Sarah reached out to me and we figured something out and she's joining. And this morning I thought, I wonder if Regina will do it because she wasn't able to and she's joining. I'm like, where the hell did that come from? Honestly. And then I said, oh, maybe I better ask Mary Jane. So it's really, thank you, Debbie. And also it's like the universe going, silly girl. And I got, and I do have to say, I got 3 appointments at the Veterinary Holistic Center Monday. And I've been going there since November, and there have been months where 4 times a week, and I got 1 client in that month. I'm going to be honest with you. I had 4 animals in 3 hours on Monday, and that is a huge win. So
congratulations.
And they were fun, and they were interesting, and we had a good time. So
good for you, and good for you for being patient.
Thank you.
We give up too soon. Good for you.
Thank you.
Good job. All right, Margaret, you're next.
Well, I have 2 things to share. One celebration is I unpacked the last box of books yesterday. I got a new bookcase delivered yesterday. No, it's new to me. So anyway, so I'm really happy about that. And the corner here in my office is now empty.
Yeah, that's huge.
And then the second thing I'm celebrating is the fact that I'm going to be taking a mystical writing class that starts on Tuesday. And it's facilitated by a friend of mine called Janet Connor, who lives here in the Tampa Bay area. She actually is about 5 miles from me. And she does what is known as deep soul writing. So if anybody has an interest, I'll put the link if you want to join in with that. She's really an interesting person. So anyway, if that speaks to you, I'll put it in there for you.
Thank you. Have fun with that.
I will.
All right. Connie Jo.
Oh, I'm unmuted. Ooh. So first, Jennifer, I sent you a private message in the chat box. I want to make sure you saw that. It's a contact for her. And I'm celebrating 2 things. One is my best friend here is having a birthday party this Saturday. It's her 65th birthday party, and she's so excited because she gets Medicare or Medicaid or whatever that is. So her husband's been looking forward to this day. So ridiculous. But it's going to be a big party, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm doing all the decorations and stuff like that. And the second thing is that I think everybody knows here I've been struggling. I've been having a hard time getting through, and I feel like I've made a breakthrough. And partly it was from the planning day. It's like getting everything down on paper, and I mean everything. And then the other thing is this book that someone else is now reading, Building a Story Brand. This has made such a difference for me because it puts stuff that I've heard before. Oh, there you go. It just put it in this, like, a formula that I understand. It just
very good.
Together. So I'm just very excited and celebrating because, I don't know, everything's just kind of gelled. So
yay!
I'm excited.
Connie Jo. I'm excited for you. That's awesome. Okay, we'll do Hannah next.
I'm celebrating 2 things today. Or rather, this Monday, I became a certified mentor for an organization in Sweden, which doesn't mean anything to you, but it means much to me. And I have a diploma that I can put on my wall.
Yeah.
And then I celebrate my new haircut.
It's awesome. Self-care and a diploma. I love it, Hannah. Good for you. Susan Shelton.
Good morning. Trying to figure out what of the many things I should talk about.
Oh, well, that's a good problem.
Yeah, 2 new customers this week. I did a presentation recently on PowerPoint. I'm not techie, as 2 people on this group will know. And evidently I knocked it out of the park.
Ah.
Well, I was really pleased with that. And thank you, Mary Beth and Jennifer. I figured out Google Drive. That was a big thing. So I will get that information updated today. So
very good. Good for you.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, I'll wrap it up and then we'll get to Connie Joe's presentation. So I am celebrating, a lot to celebrate, but I'm enjoying my staycation this week. I have been very disciplined about leaving the house for 2 hours a day minimum, which as an introvert with a dog at home with a weak bladder, that's been very challenging. However, I have done it and I have enjoyed it. I'm not sure where today's adventure will take me, but I've enjoyed it very much. Next week, my husband is home, so we'll do some more stuff.
That's really decadent.
Yeah.
2 hours. Holy cow. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Where have you gone?
Well,
where have you gone?
I have really not gone I haven't gone really anywhere except local businesses, frequented like a farmer's market, stopped along the river on my way home, it's all on my Facebook page if you want to say. I take pictures every day and I give a little daily diary.
Fun.
Which surprisingly is getting a lot of engagement. Not really surprisingly. So just little excursions. Just sometimes it's just out to the bookstore.
I know, we're all going out with you.
Yeah.
From our guests, right?
So why don't you wander down to Dunedin and maybe we could have lunch or something?
Oh, okay. All right. We'll wander down to Dunedin. See if Judy Kane's available. Okay. Now, let's switch gears. We have our Connie Joe here. I have Connie Joe's official bio. Even though we all know Connie Joe, I like her bio. I'm going to read it. Ready? Okay. Connie Joe has loved numbers for a long time. It started in first grade when her teacher used a plywood cutout man with clothespins for fingers to teach addition and subtraction. Her first career was as a mechanical engineer in the corporate world. How many of you knew that? I didn't know that. With lots of numbers, yes. Next, she homeschooled her 2 kids, birth through high school. Sadly, math was never her kids' favorite subject. Now, Connie Joe is a bookkeeping professional, financial coach, a money guide, still loving numbers, especially the ones with dollar signs in front of them. I like those numbers too. So, Connie Joe, take it away.
Drum roll. It's so exciting to be a speaker instead of a listener today. So my goal for today is to give you lots of juicy info nuggets that will help you keep more of the money that comes through your business. I'm going to talk to you about why having accurate books is so important, and then I'm going to tell you 5 secrets that will help you when you're doing your books. So let me share my screen. Start from the beginning. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so most business owners know that keeping up with their books is a really important part of their business, but it's something that you might put off because maybe numbers aren't your thing like they're my thing. So you probably look frequently at the numbers that come in, so you know how you're making money, but maybe you don't take the time to look at the big picture and how money is going out of your business. You might have somebody that helps you with your books, or you might do it yourself. But if you aren't looking at your financial statements on a regular basis and looking at the big picture, the overall picture, then you don't really have that overall big picture view that you need. You need to be looking at everything in your books. So every business should have a 3-part financial team. Even if the team is just you, you want to make sure you have all these parts covered. So the first part is the bookkeeper. And that person documents all the bank and credit card transactions. You want to make sure that they're categorized correctly. They're all put in the right buckets. And then you want to make sure that all your accounts are reconciled or balanced at the end of each month. And then the next position is the CPA. And that person prepares and files taxes and makes sure that all your financial information is in compliance with the law. So the bookkeeper and the CPA, their history, they're always looking backwards in time. But then the third position is the CFO, and that person looks at the historical information. They look at the information from the bookkeeper and the CPA, but then they use that information to look and plan forward with a longer term, higher level viewpoint. So the CFO creates strategy to move a business to the next level. So you just want to make sure that you're, again, if it's just you, you're doing all three of these things. And maybe you use help for these, but you still need to make sure all these are covered. So we're a healthy business. All parts need to be covered. And if you don't have accurate books, you don't have that very beginning part, you're likely paying more in taxes than you need to. And also, if you're ever audited, having accurate books is makes the process go more smoothly, and it decreases the chances that some problems are going to be discovered in an audit. And the third thing that can happen if you're not keeping up with your books is dread and overwhelm. These are two visitors that you don't want dropping by. So does anyone have any questions so far about what I talked about?
I have a quick question.
Okay.
Can an accountant do the bookkeeping work also?
Well, if you have an accountant doing your books, you're probably paying a lot more money than you need to, but they may have a staff bookkeeper. So if they have someone on the side, yeah, they could be doing your books too, but you probably don't want to pay an accountant to do your books.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Your price point's a little higher, or maybe a lot higher. Anything else? Okay, we're going to move on to the secrets. So the first secret, so these are things that are going to help you with your books, help you understand your books, help you know what goes into them and things you should be thinking about. So the first secret, and most of you have heard me say this before, but you need to always keep your personal and your business finances separate. You want to have a separate checking account, debit card, savings account, credit card, and you don't have to have all of those or use all of those. But if you do have them, you want to make sure that you only use those accounts for business. So there's something called, what is called when you mix them is commingling funds. And if you do, it can be a red flag for the IRS. So when you commingle funds, it's called piercing the corporate veil, and you don't want to do that. So when you do that, when you're commingling and you're mixing stuff up, you can lose the protection of your personal funds that you gain from when you set up your business as an LLC or a corporation. So what you've done is you've violated the required formalities for your LLC or corporation. So when you do that, it's no longer a separate legal entity. So then that means you can be held liable for and have to use your personal funds if your business is sued. If you have business debts or lawsuits, they can come after your personal money. So that's a big reason to never commingle your funds. But what you do, because it's going to happen, you're going to end up doing stuff that you shouldn't do. But you need to have it set up so you can take care of that if it happens. So what you need to do is in your books, you need to have 2 accounts. So these are, in QuickBooks, it's called your chart of accounts, or it's just like the buckets or categories that you put your money into in your accounting software. So you want to have an account called Owner Draw, and that's money that you take out of your business And then you want to have another one called owner investment. And that's personal money that you put into your business. So for instance, if you accidentally use your business card to pay for a business expense, to pay for a personal expense, then you would categorize that as an owner draw. So you've used business money and you've bought a book on Amazon. I just did this the other day. I didn't change my payment thing. So I paid for something personal with my business card. So that's like money I've paid myself. So you categorize that as an owner draw. And then if it goes the other way, if you use personal money to pay for a business expense, then that's called an owner investment. So that's personal money, your own money that you've used to pay for something in your business. So sometimes you might do this intentionally. So maybe like there's a course you want to go to or a conference or something, and you just don't have enough money in your business account, but you feel like it's going to lead to more cash flow for your business. It's something that would really benefit your business. So you go ahead and use your personal money to pay for it. So then you would categorize that as a owner investment. You put your money into your business. But you need to be careful with this because when it comes to tax time, it's categorized as an investment, but it's actually a business, it's a legitimate business expense. You've paid for some sort of education, say, for yourself. So it's easy to lose that deduction if you're not careful, because you just need to make sure that you remember that you have put that as an investment, but it's actually a business deduction. So it's easy to lose track. So that it's an example of how you might end up paying more taxes because you don't take all the deductions you're due because things are mixed up. And when you commingle your funds, it's just more work. It's more stuff to think about. It's harder to keep track of. But if it does happen, because it's going to happen occasionally, you just need to make sure you have the system in place so that you can take care of it when it does happen. Everybody understand that? Okay. Secret number 2 is there are things that you can do to reduce your chances of a tax audit. And I have just 3 things that are kind of common things. There's a lot more things to do, and I'm not sure that just one of these things is going to trigger an audit, but these are things that you just need to be aware of and be careful with. The first thing is business meals. So we all have people that, potential clients or current clients, and we go out to dinner, we pay for their meal. So what you need to be careful with is if you have higher than average meal expenses on your tax return, that can trigger an audit by the IRS. So if you do have business expenses, you want to make sure that business meal expenses, you want to make sure that you keep track, you keep records of that. So for each meal that you want to claim as an expense, you want to include where and when the meal occurred. You want to say who is there, like the client name or clients. And you want to also keep track of what the purpose was, what you talked about, business related. So those are things you can just write on your receipt. It doesn't have to be a book, just, quick notes. And then you want to make sure that you keep your receipts. Ideally, you'd keep them in like a cloud-based receipt management app or, keep them digitally. But if you don't want to do that, just at least have a file folder that you keep everything in, just all of your business receipts and invoices you want to keep together in a folder. And so, but business meals are 50% deductible, but the travel, if you take a train or whatever, the travel expenses or parking expenses, those are 100% deductible. So make sure you keep track of those things too. The second thing is home office deductions. So you can claim if you do your business out of your home, you can claim that part of your home that you use for business. That you use for business, you can use that as a deduction, but you can only use the part of your home that you use exclusively for business. So my office is in my bedroom. I have a really big bedroom. So I can just write off the actual square feet. Well, actually, I can't do it, and I'll tell you why in a minute. It's the actual square feet in the room, you can charge or deduct. You can't do the whole room, just that part of the room. But even that part of the room has to be used exclusively for business. So if you sit here and read a book, that's, you use it for personal use, then it's no longer exclusively business. So I use this for everything, so I can't do that. But if your claim deduction for home office is high, it can trigger an audit. So it's just something to keep in mind. And another thing is if deductions are large compared to your income. Large deductions, again, are a red flag for the IRS. And the IRS uses tables to determine how much is too much for deductions for different income brackets. But those tables aren't public, so I have no idea what they are. But it's just, keep in mind, don't go crazy with these kind of things. Just stay accurate with them. Don't underclaim, but keep track of everything and make sure it's documented. That's the key thing, is always document everything. So the third secret is that you want to keep up with your books on a monthly basis. So you want to schedule 1 day a month. Preferably you do it early in the month, but it would be after your bank statements are available. So what you want to do is you want to pull up the statements, or if you need to, print them out. I like to print them out. I like to check things off. But you pull up your statements for the previous month, and that's what you use for reconciling your books. So you want to make sure that, whatever software you're using, you want to categorize all your transactions, put them in the right buckets, and then you want to make sure that you reconcile or balance each account that you use for your business. So your checking account, credit card accounts, you want to reconcile those. And if you do it early in the month, when the transactions are fresh in your mind, it won't be such a struggle to remember, what each transaction's for. You'll just know right off the top of your head. And then at the same time, when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you have all the invoices and the receipts that match up to those transactions, so that you have documentation for all your expenses. And again, you want to keep them all in one place in a file folder, or if there are cloud-based receipt management apps that you can use. And that way you don't have to deal with paper, and you just pull it up and there's the receipt that you need. And I just want to caution you, please don't do your books once a year. You get panic, you're in panic mode, it's time for taxes. And when you're in that mode, when you're trying to hurry up and get it done, because there's a deadline, you're more likely to make mistakes. You're more likely to miss legitimate deductions. And probably in the long run, you're going to end up spending more time because you don't remember stuff. You have to go find stuff. And you're just going to end up spending more time. It's going to be more work. So you don't want to do that. Again, if you do it that way, you're likely going to be spending or paying more taxes than you need to. You're going to miss stuff. And the other thing is if you're not looking at your financial information monthly, you don't know your business. If you don't know your books, you don't know your business. So this is something that you should be keeping on top of, that you should be aware of and looking at frequently, because it's your money, it's your business. You need to do it. The fourth secret is that you want to keep your eye on your overhead expenses. So these are overhead expenses are things that aren't directly tied to either producing a product or delivering a service. And there's two kinds of main categories of overhead expenses, and that the two are fixed. So that's stuff that's pretty much the same every month, like maybe your rent, insurance premiums, your cell phone bill, those types of things are fixed. They're always the same. And then the second one is variable expenses. So office supplies, advertising, legal. Those are things that just vary month to month depending on how much you use them. Another example of a fixed expense is like if you have a VA and they do the same thing every month. They always write 4 blog posts. They always pay these bills. They always whatever. But it's always the same every month. So that would be a fixed overhead expense. It's variable if that same VA just does odds and ends, and it just depends on how much they do month to month. That's how much the bill would be, then those would be variable. But if you have a VA who, say, is designing part of a course for you, maybe they're doing your slides or something, that's part of a cost associated with delivering a product or service. So that would be a cost of goods sold. So that's not an overhead expense. That's just an example of how you think about these things in your head, how you determine, what bucket they go into. And why it's important is because your overhead dollars, they come out of your bottom line. They aren't linked to something that you're making money with. So you just want to keep this number as low as possible, and you can actually figure out what your overhead rate is. You just take your overhead expenses and divide it by sales, and this is over like a certain period of time. So like you would do like this monthly. So let's say your overhead expenses are $1,000 for the month, and you bring in $10,000 that month. So your overhead rate would be 10%. So you just want to keep this number in your head, keep track of it, because if it starts to inch up, you want to look for ways to bring it back down. Because this is something that can really, you have control of. You can control how much you spend on overhead in your business. The stuff to produce products, produce your services, that's how you really want to use your money. The fifth secret is that if you have organized, accurate books and you keep them up to date, you have the information you need to make decisions about your business. Now, the financial information is just part of what you use for making decisions, but it's a very important part. If you don't know your money, you don't know your business. It becomes a hobby. If the money part isn't part of what you're thinking about on a regular basis, then you just have a hobby. But if you're in it for making money, you want to make sure that you look at your books, you know your books. When you have up-to-date books and they're accurate, it helps you to get rid of those feelings of dread and overwhelm. You know what you're doing. You can feel confident, and then when you're in this position, you don't have these awful feelings every month that you don't know where you are, you don't know what you're doing. So if you're organized, then you can be the organized, have your act together kind of business person that you know you're meant to be. And those are the secrets. And I'd love to answer any questions you have.
Do you want to stop your slide share, Miss Connie Jo?
Sure.
So we can see each other. There we go. And I was listening. I had to stand because my watch was yelling at me.
Uh-oh.
Too much sitting.
Oh. Did you get a stand-up desk yet?
Well, not to take away from Connie Jo's time, but yes, I do. However, Mr. Wu has adopted it. So Connie Jo, that was a great presentation. And as always, I have anxiety. Thanks.
I know. I was going to say, I have a question, but I don't know that I really want to know. the answer. It's best to just
Go ahead and ask it, Jennifer.
Don't do the ostrich.
I know. Well, you were talking about the too big type of deductions, but it's a secret list.
Well, no, the IRS has a table that they use. So I'm saying, like, if they're too high, you know, it can trigger an audit, but I don't really know what too high is, other than just, don't have 50,000 in deductions and you brought in 60,000. It's kind of a gut thing, but just don't exaggerate. Just be truthful. I mean, as long as you're truthful and you can document everything, then you're fine. You need to be able to show, I really did spend this much money.
Right. So you still might get audited, but you can defend yourself for purpose.
Yes.
Right.
Maybe you could share, have you come across any of your clients that have sent up red flags and had audits or anything?
No, and I'm with, I'm in a group with a lot of bookkeepers, and they share stories about how they have a client that was audited, and they go to the meetings with their clients and they say, here's the books, here's the proof. And I've never heard anybody have a horror story, because they've done a good job of keeping track of the books. They've made sure their client has the documentation to support all their expenses, and it's easy. And sometimes people get flagged just because, who knows why, they just get, and it could be something that they've done in their books, but again, if there's documentation for it, then they're okay.
I like the tip of the, if you go out for business lunch, document who it was with, what you talked about. I don't do many of those, but that's a good best practice I'll add.
And it, like I said, it doesn't have to be a lot, just their name, and you can just say social media or whatever. Right. That's what you talked about. It doesn't,
It helps her just to jog the memory and makes it more legitimate if you bothered to document it.
Yeah.
Someone had their hand up, I think. Was it Debbie? Yeah, go ahead, Debbie.
Yes, so I just I just want to give a shout out because, first of all, Connie Jo, amazing presentation.
Thank you.
And I actually had this huge sense of relief because a year and a half ago, before we started working together, I was in all of those totally ostrich, and I'm a former CPA, I'm a reformed CPA who really just hated to do her books. And Connie Jo has just taken it and everything. We meet monthly. She has this amazing system of things get automatically brought in, so she reduces the cost because she's so organized. And she's helped me increase my profit because she questions, is this really necessary? I noticed you have these things. She's even gone so far as to say, here's when all of the things you have are renewing, so I can add those to my calendar and decide if I want to keep them or get rid of them. She's amazing. So that's if you're stressed about any of those things, just hire Connie Jo.
Or you can also use these. I mean, these are things that you can do yourself too, if that's the way you want to go. But you got to keep on top of it.
Yeah. And Connie Jo, you have. I think, I don't know if anybody realizes, you have a package for entrepreneurs who are not quite ready to commit to a bookkeeper, and you teach them.
Yeah, I have a startup package where I help them get set up in QuickBooks, and I help them get started in a document management system. And I go over their chart of accounts, which is all the categories, and make sure those are set up correctly, because that's the key. You need to make sure you have the right buckets. And then for 2 months, I'll assist you in doing your books for a couple of months, so you get the idea and understand what you're doing. So yeah, that's an option.
Love that. Very cool. Any other questions or comments? Of course, we'll do the announcements, and I'm sure we'll have more comments. Susan Shelton, go ahead, and then Mary Beth.
Great presentation. I've had a bookkeeper that I've been using for probably 15 years. So, she comes to the house, she does stuff. And so a lot of this I was able to check off, okay, I'm familiar with this. But you talked about owner's draw and owner's investment. Now, I know we have an owner's draw account, but I'm not familiar with the owner investment. So I'm going to have to check with her on that, because I know there's been the time, just not a lot, but every now and then I'll have an expense. It was like my husband one year bought me a laptop, and it was for the business. So we put it into the business, but I'm just not sure where she put that. So I guess I need to check with her. There's investment account. And the other thing is, I do the business meals and stuff like that. I put who I met with and the name of the restaurants there, but I've never really thought about putting down what we talked about. So, and that's necessary then for IRS if you get audited, correct?
It's just another
Checks and
plus. It's just that you can say, yes, I met with so-and-so, and, we didn't talk about our kids, although you might do that too. But we talked about, how I can help them with their business, or what I can do for their health, or whatever, The more information, you can't have too much information.
Maybe it makes you look more legit, more and more, and the more you've.
Plus, I think you'll feel better.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you write it down, then you're not in a position where it's like you can't remember. Like, what did we talk about?
Also, a lot of anxiety if you have notes.
And then
You've done everything you could.
Yep.
And then you might say, I can't remember.
You've covered all your bases or whatever.
Yeah. But you might think, I can't remember what we talked about, so I'm not really sure this is real. So you say, I'm not gonna count that. I'm not gonna do that one because I can't really remember. So go ahead and write it down. And back to your owner investment, the other thing it might be called is owner contribution. Those are the two kind of typical words. So maybe it's in there as that.
I will check with her on that. That was good, valuable information. And I just love the way you did the presentation. So clear to follow and just really good information. You definitely, if I lose her, I'm on my way to you. So.
And the other thing is if you have a bookkeeper and all they're doing, there's value to it, of course, of just keeping track of your books, but either you do or your bookkeeper needs to go over your financial statements with you. You need to be always looking at what's your profit and loss look like? What's my cash flow look like? What's my income look like? What's my income statement look like? Again, it just gives you information about how your business is doing. You might know, I'm making money, but what's it costing you to make that much money? Is there a way to, my favorite thing, and Debbie knows this, is find ways to save you money. Because if someone's just putting it into into QuickBooks or whatever, and they're not really looking at how you're spending your money, it's just a habit. You just keep paying that, I don't know. I can't think of something. Well, okay, so I found where clients are spending money on, because I look and see, like for instance, Debbie was paying for Dropbox. And I looked at Dropbox and I saw how much it cost to have Dropbox. Well, she was paying for like 5 users or something, and it was just her. So she was paying a lot more than she needed to pay. So I look and say, how much should it cost for this expense? And then she saved quite a bit of money by changing her subscription to what she really needed.
That's awesome.
So you just want to always be looking at stuff like it. And also with your personal expenses, do I really need a $200 cable bill? Do I really need HBO and Showtime and Stars and and you don't even realize, because it's just like an auto pay thing. You just keep doing it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mary Beth, and then Margaret, and then we need to go to announcements.
Oh, thank you, Connie. This is really good. I'm doing my own stuff right now, but I'm going to be checking with you when I get back from my vacation of the century to Buffalo, New York next week.
I thought you were going to say to Africa.
No, I just wanted to throw you all off. My friend Jeff is making fun of me, but
Same.
Okay, so anyway, a couple of questions. I use Xero and I love it, and it's simple, and my business is simple. I don't have employees, and everybody goes to QuickBooks. I truthfully found QuickBooks to be, because I'm doing it myself, quite difficult. should you be talking me into changing to QuickBooks?
No, it's whatever works for you.
Okay.
And for me, I learned Xero and QuickBooks,
Uh-huh.
and QuickBooks just worked with my mind better. It just made more sense to me. And then there's people that just love Xero. It's like, I don't know how you can use QuickBooks. It's stupid, but it's personal preference.
Yeah.
And some people use Quicken and some people use Excel spreadsheets. And as long as you're consistent and you keep doing it, you're consistent with doing it every month, there's probably there's features. It's if you want features, like that you would move to a Xero or QuickBooks.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I think that's it for now. Thank you, but I'll be checking in with you after I get back.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Mary Beth. Margaret.
Well, thanks, Mary Beth. Thanks, Connie Jo and Mary Beth. Thanks, Connie Jo. It was a great presentation. Good reminders. I've been a bookkeeper for a long time ago and continue to do my own. I just wanted to share a quick story. I have a friend who recently retired, but before he retired, he's a financial investor. So he was a stockbroker, and he had accounts in Illinois while he was here in Florida. So he would travel. He also entertained on the golf course. And so every year he would ask me to categorize his expenses. He was very, very thorough on his receipt, even his receipts for gas, exactly what the mileage was, all of that, thankfully, because he did get audited. And then I had to then go in and copy all of those receipts and put all of that together for him for his audit package. So very important to keep track of all of that. And sometimes I don't myself. So it's a good reminder for me to pull out all these receipts and put that information on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good. I think all of us would probably have a little heart sink if we were ever had it like all right, we'll get to announcements, and then I'm sure Connie Jo will get more comments or feedback. So let's do our announcements, shout outs. What are you promoting? Make sure you use the chat box. I think everybody has, but if you haven't done so already, make sure you put your name and email address in the chat box before we go today. So I'm going to start at the bottom this time. That's Debbie Keevan.
Woo, woo, woo. Thank you. Again, Connie, amazing. I loved your unsucky bio, by the way.
I delayed sending my bio to Jill because I told her I had to unsuckify it. So
I knew what that meant.
Great job. Well done. Thank you. Can't wait. So I am, of course, looking for people who are ready to write their lead magnet book. We're going to start in August, but then it ends up in this amazing retreat in the Berkshire Mountains at the end of September when the leaves are changing and there'll be fires and community and just an amazing experience. So who do you know who has said, I want to write a book and be a lead magnet book and have a wonderful experience? I'd love to have them join us.
Thank you, Debbie. You're going to drop the link in, you said. Yep. Susan Shelton, you're next.
Again, great presentation. I'm heading on vacation next week, going down to the River House, so excited about that. As far as an ask, still looking for people who are tired, run down, having trouble getting through the day, maybe upping their vitamin to USANA could make a difference because it did for me. So thanks, and everybody have a happy and safe 4th of July.
Thank you, Susan. Enjoy your River House. That sounds nice.
I plan on it.
Hannah Broter, then Kelly.
I have no announcements, but I want to thank Connie Jo for a great presentation. Almost all of which can be translated to the Norwegian, environment, and so it was many good tips, and I'm very grateful. Thank you, Connie Jo.
Thank you, Hannah. Kelly Lutman, and then Mary Beth.
I have kind of a double ask today. I do want to encourage you, if you know someone or you personally suffer with acid reflux, don't ignore it. It is a sign your body is giving you that something is not working right in your digestive system, and simply popping pills breaks the digestive system more and will lead to other things downstream. So I will put the link for my landing page in the comments. But also I have another ask, because I've talked to a lot of people that seemed interested but haven't had a whole lot of sign up as yet. Maybe it's still early, but I would love for you to take a look at my landing page. And if you would email me or just make a note of what things don't I answer for you? What questions are there that I missed answering that are kind of key for you? I would really appreciate, just in this community, because we're all business owners and we support each other, I would appreciate you shooting me an email and letting me know if there's something that you're seeing that you're not seeing on the landing page that you would have looked for. I would really appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Is that the landing page for the acid reflux course? Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm putting it in now.
All right. Mary Beth and then Margaret.
Thanks, Connie Jo, again, for that lovely, uncomfortable subject. Gotta hear it. Thank you so much. I do have a hand ask, but I want to say that working with Debbie, we're kind of, I think we're on close to the 2-year mark, somewhere around there, has been awesome. So we get together and start to figure out what I need to do for the week, and she gives me ideas like reading E Squared and gets me in the vortex and celebrates my wins, and it's making such a difference in my business. I mean, even to the point, she has so much information that when I started going to expos, she'd say, oh, here's the list of things you need to bring. Here's what you need to get. I'm like, do you know this too? So she's a really cool resource. So my ask is, thank you. My ask is, I'm going to be interviewed by Psychic Bob Hickman on YouTube at 11 today. And if you are interested in experiencing the Psychic Bob phenomena, and we'll be talking about my communicating with animals, but he's a cool guy. It's going to be about a half an hour, so if you got the time, I'd love to have you show up and just have an experience of Psychic Bob and Mary Beth on YouTube.
It's like send and share. How come you big? Margaret, then Jennifer.
Well, thanks again, Connie Jo. Good reminders, and filling out those receipts this weekend, maybe, and writing more information on them. Also wanted to give a shout out to Mary Beth. She and I had a coffee date last week or the week before. I'm sorry, losing track of days and time. And it was fun to catch up or learn more about each other, and learn about my grand dog, who is overzealous to meet me, and the fact that she is reincarnated as my very first pet that I miss so much. So she's doing, we did much better this week. She didn't jump up on me. She's a huge dog that's a combination of Shepherd, Husky, German Shepherd, Husky, and Great Pyrenees. So she's a giant dog. But anyway, so thanks for that. And then I'm rereading the E Square, and today is the coat hanger experiment. So I'll keep you posted on that. I haven't done it before, but so I anticipate it'll work out well. Excuse me. My ask is, if you know of someone who really needs to review where they are right now in their life and make sure they're on the right path, summertime's a great time to spend some time with a life design coach and me to help you make sure you're finishing off the year with goals and process and path that you want to take. So I'm available. Have some time this summer. That would be fun to work with people, and let's get that down so you're vibrating at the right level for your business.
Awesome. Thank you, Margaret. Jennifer, and then Susan Rose.
I don't have much of an ask. I'm still running my, hi. I'm still running my discount for my content relief package. It's a 3-month series of me writing for your blog, getting that business task off of your list so you can focus on other things. That comes with a good handful of Facebook posts as well. So it's a 3-month series of both of those items, and I have a 15% discount for everybody in the group if you want to sign up by the end of summer. And it can really, be very helpful to kind of ease your mind, and you can work on other stuff for a while. I appreciate everybody that has worked with me. I never reveal your names. I don't know that people really want me to do that because I'm kind of the background ghost writer, but I do always want to thank you. So, and I'm going to get together with some of you after the holiday, the American holiday. So if anybody else wants to get together and chat about our businesses and get to know each other better, reach out. I'd love to gab and talk about marketing and whatever you're up to. So have a great holiday, and thanks, Connie Jo. I probably should take some of that vacation time and fine tune. I need to do my business stuff a lot better. Like separating. I find it easier not to separate and just throw it in there and keep a good record, but I really need to be better at that. So thanks for reminding me to get on that. Okay, thank you very much. Have a nice 4th.
Susan Rose, then Connie Jo.
Well, thank you, everything. Thank you, Connie Jo. This is now the 2nd time in 1 week that I've heard a financial planning conversation. So clearly I'm getting a message that I need to put on my girl panties and really take care of that stuff, which I sort of do, but not as, anyway, whatever. You already have my link to the content planner. I would love it if you all would take a look at it. And if it's okay, I'm pulling together basically all the launch stuff, social media posts and everything, figuring out how I'm going to give that to people. But I would love if you're willing to send that to you so you can help me sell a lot of copies of this so that I can pay my taxes in a timely manner and catch up with all that stuff. As I just paid quarterly taxes, and yeah, always fun. So I need to sell a lot of planners.
You're so funny. I didn't see your Amazon link, Susan Rose.
It's up near the top. I put it up in the beginning after I showed you all the book, so it's at the top. It's a link to my personal website, that then to my landing page on my website. So it's SusanRose.com content planner.
Thank you. I'll be sure to grab it.
At 8:05 is when it's time stamped.
Miss Connie Jo, you are next.
Well, first I wanted to tell Mary Beth, my daughter and I love to watch America's Got Talent. And there was a woman that came on, and she was an animal communicator, which was a ridiculous thing to do on that show. But she sat on the stage in a chair, and she had these 2 dogs, and she was telling them what the dogs, her act was telling them, everybody, what these dogs were thinking. Of course, she got X'd. But it was just really interesting that somebody came on, that was their talent, but it wasn't the right place for it. It was just like, oh wow, I know one of those. That's funny. So my ask is connections for anyone who's feeling dread and overwhelm when it comes to their books, whether they're just starting up, maybe they just want to get help getting started on to do it on their own, or if they want to hand it over. They really want to get it off their plate. I'm here, ready to serve. I'd love connections with people like that. And especially my sweet spot is service-based solopreneurs. So like all of you.
I was like, thank you, Connie Jo. And finish up the announcements, first of all, thank you, Kind Joe, for a great presentation. And I like how you tweaked it from the last time you presented it. You did good tweaks, my dear. We're just a reminder, next Friday we're not meeting. And I think it's embarrassing that someone was on America's Got Talent with something that's a gift. And I am opening the Celestial Book Club here very, very soon. I put a link in there. If you're interested in joining the interest list, that's when you get first notification when the book club is open, and also my special interest list price, which, by the way, this is not going to be a big investment, so it'll be quite affordable for everybody. So if you're interested in that, please feel free to drop your name in the interest list. I think most of you already have. So thank you. And I look forward to seeing you all in 2 weeks, next Friday next, or whatever the hell they say it. And I hope you all have a great 4th of July for those of you celebrating, and take some time off and enjoy whatever it is you love to do. Sending you all lots of love. Thank you for coming. Take care.
Can I ask one more last thing? I'm sorry.
No.
I should have asked earlier. I was thinking about it, but I'm going to do my talk for the group, I think the end of July. And I really wanted to focus on questions and stuff you had about your marketing and your social media, maybe your hang-ups, something that you're having trouble with. And I would probably have room for 3 questions. If anybody has anything they want to talk about specifically or issues you're having, maybe shoot me a quick email or a message on Facebook, and I can make note and come to the presentation ready to talk about you.
I would say, everybody message Jennifer your biggest social media struggle, whatever that is.
That's right.
That'll give you a good fodder right there.
That's a good one. Yes, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, everyone. Have a great week.
Happy 4th.
Bye. Bye. Independence Day.